Live here.
Live!
But we don't have to necessarily know what that means.
What's the someday of blank?
I don't
there's
know
a
that we
reason
want to-
this story happens now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the movie writes itself. Ooh.
I'm still streaming. How do I stop streaming? No! Benjamin Eric Lustig.
That's me. Hello. Jake. I don't know your middle name.
Oh, 14 years and you
I know.
slay me like this so publicly.
I know it's C.
Well, I have two.
There's two middle names?
Oh, I do. I have two.
That's not fair.
I know. So Christopher is the one that I go by publicly, but
Okay.
I have another middle name. My full name is Jake Budley Christopher Thornton.
Oh, I do remember.
You remember that
saying
now?
something
Yeah,
about
yeah.
Budley.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
Budley, I'm named Budley after the town Budley Salterton, which is the town I was conceived in. Which I kind of feel like it's more information than should be in a name.
Yes, it is more information for sure. For sure. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another day of Ben and Jake Write a Movie.
And I feel like you know us all a little bit better now.
You do. We were off yesterday for Yom Kippur. I hope everyone repented. And
I did. I especially did.
Yes. And we are back today, ready to do some more work on
We
this.
sure are.
Spec. If you haven't joined us before, we are here writing our spec live. with
We
you.
are. Now,
Watching
should we just bring people back up? Just kind of let people in on something that we were discussing, because maybe we can get some feedback on it as well.
Sure.
So we're now in the phase of our project where we are writing. Now we're writing the outline at the moment. We always work off outlines on all of our screenplays. It acts as a roadmap for where we're going, and of course, because we're in a partnership, we write certain bits separately, and then we come back together and blah blah blah. Anyway, so not sure how interesting that's going to be, I think, is part of the concern, So what we have been considering doing is that Ben will silence his phone.
I will certainly silence.
It's the second time that's happened. It's all good. Don't worry. I'm just going to check mine is silence because obviously I can't. Anyway,
I got a new computer and I didn't put my do not.
Okay, I forgive you. It's okay. So we will do basically an hour's work. We may or may not broadcast that live. I think maybe we will. But then we'll also do like a 15 to 20 minute just recap of the day's work, anything that happened. And maybe we won't necessarily do that live, but we'll publish that after the fact. So anyway, that's what we are thinking of doing. So one regular hour, if you want to watch us do potentially staring out the window in silence like this.
Because we do a lot of that.
Do a lot of that.
We both like the sound of our voice way too much to do that for very long.
I feel seen.
But
then we'll do a little 20-minute recap after. So if that's appealing to you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We were trying to do the short cuts of the episodes. I think this time around, I think a little recap for people who don't want to sit through everything is great. And if you do want to sit through and join us and have some fun as we try and figure this shit out,
out the window with us.
Please, that's why we're here. So awesome. Anyway, where we left off last time is in that outline, actually.
In that outline, yeah.
Do you remember exactly where we were? Do you want to?
Well, we were having a conversation, weren't we? And it was ultimately about how do we meet Hank?
Right.
And there are two thought processes. There's version one, whereby Hank somehow gets the knowledge that Sam has been discovered, or that signs have been seen, and goes on the mission to go and basically execute Sam, to go and kill Sam, because Sam's the Antichrist and he's a demon hunter.
Right.
Or there is the Terminator 2 version of it, which is you don't meet him in Act 1, and that you meet him at the start of Act 2, whereby they go to him for help and assistance.
Right.
So
there were those. I think that the broader question that then raised for us, which was a much larger story question, and this happens all the time with outlines, which is how the fuck do any of them know who Sam is?
Yeah.
And what exactly caused them to all of a sudden trigger this whole event, whether it be Charlize trying to figure out, oh, I've got to go and I've got to save Sam, whether it's the demons knowing, oh, I've got to go chase Sam, or whether it's Hank saying, oh, I've got to go and kill Sam.
Yeah, absolutely.
None of those things happen without a trigger. And so we talked a little bit about prophecies. We talked a little bit about
and why we don't like
not
them.
loving the one prophecy style movies necessarily, and yet sometimes, like The Matrix, that's the way to do it, and they did it cleverly and well.
They did it cleverly. They led you along one path and then took you on another, and then brought you back onto it again.
I mean, I will say there's an interesting. I'll kind of like flip it in the sense of like there is an interesting twist on the trope of the one, because she's not the one in terms of like the Christ-like figure.
No, of course.
She's the one in the bringer of death and doom type figure.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a play on that concept there, which could be fun. But it's not incredible. It doesn't feel incredibly fresh.
Yeah. Don't worry about that too.
Just really quick, a viewer, Leandro, is just saying hello. So I'm just saying hello back to him. That's why it looks like I'm typing.
Because you are.
So, I think it's a big question because ultimately it's the setup for the movie, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Why does this movie happen?
And something has happened. There's always this question that people ask when you're pitching an idea, and it's why now? What is the why now of it all? Why does this happen, movie? Why does this happen, movie? Why does this movie happen? Today.
Sure.
And it's funny. Some movies answer that question. Some movies really don't. We talked about the Terminator a lot on this podcast. There is no real reason for the Terminator to happen on the day that it happens.
Yeah.
We learn that they follow the Terminator back because he was sent back by the machines, and thus we have to follow him to this day. But we have no reason.
Why couldn't it have been yesterday? Why can't it be in a week
or 5 years ago?
Totally. Yeah, and in that particular. But the reason that and you said it, the reason that Kyle is here now is because the Terminator is here now.
Correct. And so the protagonist's journey does stem from the Terminator is after her, and that's why I'm here. Or even from Sarah's perspective, the why now is because somebody's trying to kill me.
Yes.
Absolutely. In this particular case, we need at least one of our three protagonists, at least one, to have a very clear why now. And I do think that it needs to tie into Sam somehow. It needs to tie into her being identified. If this is someone who we've been, let's dig back a little bit into our mythology. The demons for millennia have been waiting for the day of the bringer of darkness. They have been coaxing humanity, trying to lead various humans astray to potentially become that very being of ultimate darkness. I don't know why it didn't work for them with Hitler or Mussolini or some of those other ones, or but it didn't for whatever reason. It didn't. And so they're still doing it. And now here we are in 2023 when this movie ends up going out to market. And and in 2023, the demons are like, fuck yeah, this 25-year-old chick, Sam, she's the demon. She's the person, the bringer of
figured it all out. Yeah.
We just need to push her over the edge and have her kill someone so that she leans all the way in.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I love all of that.
Yeah.
But what is it about Sam that's made them go, her? It's her. That's who it is. We've been waiting for.
So I guess the questions are these external signs that happen around Sam's life, or does Sam do something? But again, I just feel like it needs to be sign related, portent related.
Let's, with Neo, out of curiosity, just to go down that road for a moment, because I do like the way that they do it. It's one of the one movies that we really like. We literally called The One. What is the thing that makes them know that he's there? They never
that makes Morpheus believe that he is the one.
And like, how did he even find him? Why Neo?
Yeah, there is a. I mean, I guess in kind of like Matrix lore, he's been searching for Neo, but I don't know how he found him. I don't know how and why, when he's in his office cubicle and the guy comes in with the envelope and says, "Here you go, sign here," that Morpheus has gone, because I found you because you did this thing.
That's the guy.
I
guess you could.
We've finally broken the Matrix.
Broke the Matrix right there. You could infer that maybe the Oracle gave him the intel that he needed. The Oracle had told Trinity before that she would know it was the one when she fell in love with someone, but that has nothing to do with choosing specifically and that
that the Oracle did specifically tell Morpheus that he would find the one.
Right, but there's nothing that happens in the movie. There's nothing that happens in the movie.
I mean,
that leads you to the moment where they said, that guy sitting at that computer over there, that's the guy we've been looking for all these years.
Yeah. Now they are on the Nebuchadnezzar. They are looking for, they're fighting against the machines, and they do help liberate people. That's what they do. Morpheus had liberated Cypher and many other members of that crew.
Sure.
So this is something that they do. And always, Morpheus is thinking at some point, the Oracle has told me that one day I'm going to find the one. So I know that one day, one of these people that I liberate from the Matrix is going to be the one. So every time, presumably, when he pulled someone out of the Matrix, he had his fingers crossed that this one was the one. In fact, there was a wonderful section that was taken out of the original script, which was that Neo was the 7th person that Morpheus had found that he thought was the one, and they had all died. And you go like, he's just going to play the fucking lottery of like, is this the one? No, you're dead. Is this the one? No, you're dead, But you're going to go like that actually would have upped the stakes for me if they kept that line in. Because then you go, oh shit, when he's told he's not the one, then you're like, he's going to fucking die.
Right.
But anyway, so in that, there is an aspect of that whereby there haven't been specific signs necessarily that Neo is the one, but I think when he goes into the construct and fights him for the first time.
Yeah, but even before that, because as he's waking up, you hear them talking. Like you hear like whispers. I feel like it's either Cypher or somebody else going, "Really? He thinks he's the one? Yeah. Do you think he knows? Why does he think?" There's like even before they go into the construct, you get the sense that the crew know that Morpheus thinks that.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because he's not done anything up until that point that would make you go, "Oh, like he can't bend a spoon with his mind while he's."
There's no other than just this random idea of, there's a prophecy, but we don't know anything about the signs of that prophecy.
Right.
Only that it exists.
Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of like,
No, it doesn't. I mean, ultimately, the Matrix doesn't help us here.
It doesn't help us here because I actually don't. I love the Matrix. I don't like that. I don't like us just starting this movie going, assuming that Sam is the one, the bad one, and that Charlize just knows. And then everybody just knows.
Here's the thing. Let's just break it down for a second. Again, I'm just playing with it.
Of course.
What if you had some kind of weird something, a la the we've got a weird something at the prologue at the moment.
Right.
Our 1920s.
Yeah.
But we do something with Charlize's present day. Where I'm going with it was this, and it's not clear. But it's that Charlize already has her eye on Sam. We're with Sam in her regular life, in her regular world. doing her things, doing her stuff. And Charlize comes to her and says, "Hey, sugar, come with me if you want to live." And we've seen Charlize in the opening. We go, hang on a minute, that's the girl from the opening 100 years ago. What's going on? And then we meet Sam, present day. We're going, oh, why are you here? Why are you here? And we just notice that she's being watched by someone. Anyway, maybe some of that, just kind of throwing that out there, based on our conversation about the Matrix. We could skip over all the, again, could we go, oh, I read the signs, you know, I tracked down your mother who abandoned you when you were a kid, and she was, and basically I found you. But then why haven't the demons? Don't know.
Anyway. Here's the thing. The big thing the big headline, I guess, for why I don't know that I like how that works is that it means Charlize has already been and has already decided to be her savior from the beginning. And I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's another whole plot element that we have to talk about still, because we've removed the angels, and so now I still don't really know what she wants or how she's going to get it. But there is it implies that she's been already doing this pre the movie.
Yes, no, I hear.
I would say there's something interesting. Okay, thinking about the lore that we're talking about, right? Thinking about the fact that this has been going on for millennia. They've thought that they found them before, but they've been wrong. All that kind of stuff. What if there's like a demon sixth sense, or like a Highlander kind of a I sense the person, or the old guard where when the new immortal when she's born, all of them just kind of have this reaction. We've talked about it in other movies. There was one that we were doing about Pandora's box, and the box opened and everybody felt it. You know?
Yeah.
Is there, because Charlize is a demon, at a certain point when this person came of age, or whereby they've tipped the scales, whatever it was, when they did the act that caused the balance of good versus evil to shift, that as demon kind, they can sense humans who are on the verge or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, maybe. That's interesting.
Like I'm imagining for a moment if we were with, let's say we were with Sam and something really fucked up happened and she ends up stealing something, or she ends up doing something bad, right? Doing something morally bad.
Yeah.
And that in that moment, it's like just enough to like push her over, and like she feels it and Charlize feels it. And it's like a weird, she goes, what the fuck was that? But it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That means
that you are the
Antichrist.
You are the one
is potentially upon us.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Sure.
Is there a almost like a homing beacon of dark energy and is that why Charlize then has to rush, because she knows now that homing beacon of dark energy is out there, the other demons are going to be coming.
It's funny as you were talking about that, I was imagining I went into Hank's story for a second, which was, you see this guy running the meat counter. He's got this like regular, dude guy, and he goes home and he's making himself dinner in his little apartment, and there's this fucking screams and cries coming from the bedroom, and he goes in, he's got a cage like the Gimp cage, and he's captured a demon in there who's always just there, and he figures it out.
Right.
Demon's acting all fucking
weird. There was something that I was thinking too, like because he's a demon hunter, is there like a whatever this is, again, I'm like saying like the homing beacon of dark energy,
Yeah.
Does he somehow get an alert? Like he doesn't feel it, but there is, and I actually like the idea, like if he does have a demon, or if it's not a demon, if it's not that he's kept a demon in a cage, if there's some other demonic thing, is he into the occult? Like has he? Is there like a skull or a crystal ball or some crazy shit like that?
Yeah.
when it happens, it's going to light up. When there's demonic activity, almost like a demonic activity
meter,
Geiger
counter,
Ghostbusters thing.
mate. He's got something or someone
right
that he can use to help him to get him onto the path.
Right.
But again, it comes down to this thing of going, what happens? This is my wife, Mountain Breathwork.
Yes.
Mountain Breathwork t-shirt. Bit of cross promotion here. Go and check out sageandblushwellness.com. But yeah, you go, what is the thing that happens that makes you just go, but what did she do?
There's something cool about the demonic Highlander. All right, I'm just gonna run with it because I love Highlander. But imagine that beings of darkness are naturally drawn to other beings of darkness, and when demonic energy, which is what ultimately that kind of evil is, that it comes to Earth, you can sense it, and something about her at this moment has released an insane amount of demonic energy, which is the thing that tells. It's like if you have a Geiger counter, it's like all of a sudden it just went, and Charlize feels it, and Hank, if he's got a crazy ass, guy in his basement, they feel it or whatever, and everybody goes, "Oh shit,"
Yeah, it's funny. I just watched. I was watching the Lord of the Rings TV show, and I watched the first kind of hour of The Hobbit. Just I haven't seen. I only saw this once in the movie theater, and you're with Radagast the Brown, and he is going through the woods, and all the animals are dying. It's a bunch of dead animals on the ground. He's just like, what's going on? And then he goes back and he's like, what, why would this be happening? Why would this be happening? And then he suddenly realizes, oh my goodness, evil is back. Sauron is back. Something is happening, So I just wonder if there is, again, something like that. There are signs that are being exhibited, which are...
Well, that's a separate thing, right? That's not the Highlander version. It's
not.
Prophetic signs that happen around the world.
Yeah, sure.
That's a totally different thing.
Yeah,
and that's fine if we want to.
That might be fine for him, and the demons. It might be something different for the demons.
I don't think we want to do two. It should just be one thing. It'll be too. It's too much.
Well, then let's just have him with a demon in his trunk.
I mean, it's interesting.
He's got a silver demon head that's still like, no, you're inside, you're inside.
It depends on what we want them to look like. but maybe. I mean, one of the ideas that I tossed out, I think last time, was there is a version where you do the reverse plagues, and there are the signs of the, that come out. And I'm sure we could probably Google them, and there's probably
rather than the rivers of blood, it turns into hot chocolate.
Well, it's the signs of the apocalypse,
Sure. Yes.
There's probably some lore mythology that we could use and weave in if we wanted to the coming of the apocalypse or the four horsemen or whatever we want to do in that sense.
Interesting. But I don't know. There are some things, aren't there? Kind of feel like I see it on.
There are. There definitely are. I just don't know that I want to lean into that kind of mythology too much, because then it binds us to a certain degree to that mythology.
Sure. Yes. It's true. Yeah.
But it is clean. Look, if all of a sudden it was raining blood, but then you've got the whole fucking world going, what the hell's happening?
But here's the thing: do you do something whereby only certain people can see it? Do you do with
confusing.
Yeah, maybe. Yep.
I mean, I could understand, again, it's I could understand the Highlander thing of only immortals can feel other immortals. I get that,
Totally.
So, only demons can feel other demonic energy or something. I get that,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know which is best. And the reason for everybody watching that we've been dwelling on this for the last 20 minutes now, is because we can't push forward in our outline until we know this piece of information. And the reason we need that is because we don't know who to cut to next. We can't figure out what the next scene is until we decide how our heroes come together and how our bad guys discover that Sam is among us. Because all of that is intertwined, and we can't just start throwing random scenes out there. I mean, we have some really great ideas for the next different types of scenes. We've talked about Hank at Costco or Wegmans. We've talked about, Charlize down in the little town finding a demon in the grocery store, whatever it might be. But none of that makes any difference unless we know why we're moving into the next section of the movie. And this is that hard part where, and this is why we do this as in an outline, by the way, because if we were writing a script and we would be probably far more tempted to just keep pushing through, and then we'd get like 25 pages in and go, shit, we don't know what the hell we're doing. So I think we do need to just make a choice for now of going.
And we can always change it, but again, I don't think it will be seismic if we change. We've come up with, here's the thing, we come up with a bunch of different versions, all of which work in their own way.
Yeah.
It's either, she does something bad and then they all feel it around the world and then they're going to be going for her. Or there have been a series of signs that have been fulfilled. That's where I've been leaning into up until this point. But
I guess I'm leaning in the other direction. I'll give you my pitch as to why I think the energy thing works better than the signs. Here's why. The signs are cool if all we're doing is trying to say the apocalypse is coming. But how do I identify a specific person in a specific place from those signs? Then it becomes really complicated to me.
It depends. It depends what the signs are.
Well, is the sign going to be Portland? A girl named Sam?
No. But
how
here's
do
the
I
thing.
know? Even if the sign says a girl who works at Starbucks, how do I know which girl it is?
Totally.
But
could it be again, it's like, what's the myth? What are the signs? The daughter of the rose and the sign of the
doesn't need to be a poem. It could still just be a sign.
No, totally. But what I'm saying though is she figures out it's that Starbucks or that church and that particular cross street, and the name of fucking Sam's mom is Rose. And it's like, and these were the signs that have suddenly begun. Oh, I've put all the pieces together.
I guess then we just have to have that becomes the movie. To me, that's now it's Indiana Jones, and I'm having to put all the puzzle pieces together for 40 minutes.
But I don't think it has to be. I think we can do that as quickly as we want it, as we want to.
All right, so let's just say we'll walk down this path for a moment. Yeah, I'm still leaning towards the energy, but I want to humor it. I want to walk through it. So there's an ancient prophecy of the day that the bringer of the apocalypse will be ready to move to ascend, whatever that might be, right? So the sign needs to give us both that now is the time, but then also lead us to that person specifically as well. What would that look like?
So I think it would be along the lines of again, it's not even the riddle.
It's not a prophecy.
It's not.
It's new. Because no one's there hasn't. I mean, unless you're saying that that this same exact portrait, that it's like a Nostradamus style prophecy that has been around forever, and then it's not about signs, is it? Then it's just about the prophecy.
But again,
being in that specific situation.
But with Nostradamus, it was a lot about signs. there were things that he was saying in these quote unquote prophetic visions, which were when this happens and this happens, then this will happen. You know, here are the signs, and then here is the effect of that.
But how does that bring us to? So let's say that, just again, it's like when the sky turns blood red on the 14th day of the 7th month, the girl will be revealed, or the Antichrist will be revealed through like whatever it is. I don't know, an explosion of fire. I mean, if it's some sort of weird prophetic thing, which I don't fully understand why it is, but let's just say that that's what it is.
Yeah.
If that's the case, how so whatever this is happening on this day, and then
I don't think it's date related. Again, I think it's again. I was joking about the lightning striking the donut ring.
Okay,
but it's that kind of thing. That kind of thing happens out in the world, and people go, and those in the know go, "Oh, hang on, that's interesting," because the prophecy says the ring.
What you're saying is it's really two separate things. It's the hey, here's the sign that happens that alerts us to the event, and then there's the prophecy that.
No, I'm saying. Okay, so again, if I was gonna use the donut shop analogy, and I'll just do that because I'm just using that as the
sure.
Because when the ring of fire ignites, the Antichrist shall be revealed as the daughter of the rose. And you go, oh, I don't actually know what that means. But then, boom, lightning strikes this fucking donut shop in Portland. The ring of fire comes out. She sees it on the news. She's like, oh, holy shit, that's interesting. So she goes and investigates and finds that someone there's mum is named Rose and goes, it's her. And we do that quickly. Like something like that. That kind of Nostradamus thing that appears to be like you would not know what it meant. You would not know what it meant if you just read like, what's the fucking ring of fire? You know, what is that? All of these clues point to
and just keying into the rest of our lore, though, what is the demons haven't been waiting for that to try and push humanity towards this direction. So what do they believe? They believe that if they can get someone almost there, that this thing will then just miraculously happen to kind of as like the proof that they've been victorious. Like also, is there, I mean, we can come up with some more specificity. I would want to make sure that Hank and Charlize had no doubts. Like there can be no doubt that it's Sam. We're not going to go on this journey unless we know without a question that this is the girl.
Absolutely. In the same way that Indy, when he puts the head on the staff, goes, "But that's where it is. I've put all the clues. You've got all the clues. I'm right because I'm right, and that's where the Ark of the Covenant is buried." They're digging in the wrong place.
Also, I guess, and maybe this is. Sorry, I'm just thinking this through. Okay. So there's two things I would say. One, in order for me to buy into that Charlize has also witnessed these signs and is convinced that now is the time and is drawn into this quest. I don't think it all happens on one day.
Sure.
You would want there to be multiple things that, and we can montage through it. We can see, of course,
yeah.
Things that make her go, oh fuck, culminating with potentially a demon literally being among us, and that potentially even being one of the prophesized things that the demons are now set to roam free or whatever that. And then, as these things have happened, the hurricane that is a
Sure.
symbol.
Yes.
The volcanic eruption, the
Yeah.
famine, again, it's like I was saying, the reverse plagues, right?
Totally.
It's like,
yeah.
As she starts to witness this, and then when she encounters a demon in this little town of hers, and the demon confirms her suspicions.
Right.
Don't you know the time is almost here?
Sure.
Then you have the riddle.
Yes.
That you'd bring out the second half of it. So
Right.
the first half is
and the plagues.
Time is upon us.
Yeah.
The second half is who is the person.
Mhm.
And that then you go, okay, how do we now track down the person that the demons are going after?
Mhm.
And then lastly, I think there still is kind of a cool thing whereby to be 100% certain with no questions that she has some sort of demonic energy inside of her, and thus Charlize could potentially feel it, as well as if our Hank guy has a Geiger has a Ghostbusters thing, that he could also go.
Hank must be 100% certain about this as well.
Full on in here. And what's cool about that is that at the end, when she does make the choice to not kill the person, and he puts up the wand on her, or whatever, it doesn't go off. The demonic energy's gone.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. That comes back at the end. Yeah. Great. Okay, cool. So it's kind. It's a bit of both.
So what we would need to do. So now we can actually get into outlining, because now what we need to do is set up those things.
Yeah.
So the next sequence of scenes are, we're going to meet Charlize 100 years later.
Yes.
And Charlize, we're going to have to get to know her a little bit in the world that she's in. She's not looking for the Antichrist. She's actually living off the grid.
Yeah, sure.
But the signs start to happen.
Yeah. Cool.
And she starts to get suspicious.
Yes.
And that's the next sequence of scenes.
Great. That's cool.
Right?
All right, great. Yeah, okay. I think that sounds good. Let's
bring up our document and start putting that in.
While you're doing that, I'll do the usual boilerplate stuff, but not boilerplate. I'm doing it in the middle of the show. But anyway, do go and subscribe to our channel if you like it. And it helps us like our video. Again, it helps with our visibility to get as many people watching this show as possible, who may be emerging screenwriters who might want to see how some people write movies together, hopefully. You can follow Ben on Twitter, Ben_Lustig. I'm at Jake Thornton. We also have a Facebook page as well. It's Lustig Thornton. And a few people have been watching us through that. We may even have one or two now, which is nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to bring up our document momentarily.
So it's funny because I'm looking for a document right now, and for some reason,
have you not set up the Google Drive? Ben got a new computer yesterday.
I do. I'm very excited. I got a new.
Very happy about it.
I'm very happy. I was working off of a 2016 model. It was starting to get slow.
What is this? The Dark Ages?
I know, right?
Hammering out on a tablet every day.
5 years, dude. That's all you get.
That's all you get
on a computer.
Yeah, I hear it.
5
Absolutely.
years. But honestly, I'm looking for. I've got my Fade In. I've already loaded Fade In up on the new computer, and I've got our Google Drive. We share everything on a Google Drive.
We do. We share everything.
And the problem is, I am not seeing our documents.
This is gonna viewers are gonna experience in real time 2 writers who've lost their work.
That's
shit. Where'd you put it? What did you label it as? Well, I labeled it as, oh my God.
No, seriously. Can you pull up the Google Drive and tell me where it is?
Let's have a little look. So it's in there. It's in there.
I thought it was in Writing a Movie in that folder, but all I see is a Pages document.
Yeah, it's called Podcast Outline, October 4th.
Is it in that?
It's in the Writing a Movie, and if you do by date,
it's okay. I found it. Thank you, JT. All right.
That was a close one, right there.
Found it. See,
what couldn't you see? Was it just because you just couldn't see where it was? Or?
No, I was the idiot that was looking in Pages and not in the actual Finder. I had it open through Pages. All right. One sec as I share this.
You can always tell when that's the case because it does it in a different color. They have
I
color
know.
coded it because I think you did that before. You're like, oh, I'm in numbers. You did that the other week. You're like, I was looking for something.
Let's see. What is Chrome doing to me now? Yeah. Hold on. It's doing all
Let's just riff for a little bit. So,
where
are you from? Oh, right.
So funny. All right. I apologize, everyone. I know.
Entirely unprepared.
Yeah.
Oh, and now we've lost Ben. This is what happens. Honestly, this is what I have to put up with on a near daily basis. You know, he's there 1 minute, he's gone the next. I just can't rely on him, you know? Anyway, there you go. But we're having fun today. We are having fun with this. But I think if you missed the beginning of the show, what we are thinking of doing is that we are going to do probably the rest of these outline sections.
Don't know what just happened.
You need me to. I'm having to talk to myself here. Just in telling our audience members about the fact that we're going to be doing an hour of our regular work, and then we will do a little kind of recap of it as a separate episode. So if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, you don't have to. That's okay. So
all right.
Are you ready now, Ben?
I'm finally ready. Look at that. Although my fade in looks totally weird.
Oh, why? Is it because you've got a different font?
I don't know.
Because you won't necessarily, unless you. Okay.
All I did was literally.
Oh, look at that! It's up at the top. What's all that weird stuff at the top?
This is what I'm talking about. I downloaded a new version of it.
Holy
moly! All this weird stuff.
Can you increase the size on it so we can see it? Because I can't see it.
Yeah,
so.
I need to. I can't even see it. Let's see here. How do I
go to view at the top, or is there a
zoom?
Zoom. That's what you're looking for.
How's that, guys? Is that better?
It's a little better. It's a little better.
All right.
All right. So this is the prologue here, whereby in the past in Chicago, we're with Charlize Theron, and she thwarts a bombing attempt that originally she was perhaps part of, but then she's not doing that anymore. So you can actually get rid of that note now. Right. I think we've done that.
Yeah, I think we have too.
So have a nice photo. So then we go present day. So what are the signs? And is it of the apocalypse or is it of the Antichrist? And do we want to find something from lore?
I think that
signs of Antichrist. Let's have a little look. I'm just doing some research.
It's a hard one because I do think that if we go with specific signs that are associated with most people don't even know what those are though. I don't know.
Sure.
So it's not a big
deal.
Yeah. So weird that it uses Courier New 12 point. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It looks like a different font rather than I think we used.
What were we using? Courier.
We using John August's one that he created.
Is that what we were using?
Is it called Courier Prime? I don't even know. It's a good question. It's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, Courier is the font that you write screenplays in, but there are different versions. I have Courier Final Draft.
Okay, it's fine for the moment. It's totally fine. I mean,
it's like a little thicker.
Yeah,
Courier. Yeah, it's just a little bit more bold. I actually prefer it significantly.
Right.
Let's edit, select all fonts. Courier. It's just a simple change, but it looks so much better.
It looks so much better. What's that? Final Draft?
This is Courier Final Draft.
Final Draft have done something right.
There you go. They have a font. The font is good. So it's. I think we cut. So are we cutting to Charlize's like house, basically?
I think so. I think we cut.
We said that we were going to be in the Colorado mountains. Yeah.
Great. Colorado mountain sounds great.
So should we do a big wide exterior kind of like wooded mountain range, basically?
Yeah. Colorado mountains.
Day. And then, yeah, we like to kind of just go establishing here just so that everyone knows. And then we would just basically be like, what?
You can honestly just write description. And then super 100 years later.
Yes.
Or just the date.
Why did you change fonts, you dumbass?
Oh, look at that. That's weird. Don't be weird, Fade In. Fade In is normally so good.
So good. No! All right. So, description and then super.
Doing it again.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
You might have to generally change the just do it as is for the moment and we'll figure it out later. We'll figure it out offline because right now Lily's laughing at us.
All right. Super. 100 years later.
Yeah, or the date. Which one? What would you prefer?
I would say for 100 years later
What
because
did we
we
do
don't know
earlier?
what day this movie's getting made.
Right. I know it's killing me. It's killing me too, Lily. I can't deal with this anymore.
The font.
No, it's fine. Don't stop changing the font. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So,
No.
did we date it earlier though? Did we date 1920?
Yeah, we did.
Great. Okay, fine. So,
Yeah.
great.
So it's
100 years after that.
100 years after that.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I think we dated in 1925, so that actually doesn't work because, well, I guess 2025. Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, it's fine.
Perfect.
Great.
Movie
Perfect.
takes place in 2025. All right, guys, we have got a goal. Movie needs to come out
2025 release.
We're planning on it.
Boom.
All right. So, and then we go into basically exterior.
Yeah.
Cabin. Is it a cabin? Is it a house?
It's a cabin. She's got a cabin. She's a house. She's her and a dog.
What?
She doesn't need a house. Just her and a dog.
Her and a dog. It's Mark Wahlberg and Shooter.
There you go.
Cabin. Day. Smoke rises from the chimney.
Yeah, sure. Description of place, and we see Charlize. La la la.
It's Charlize cutting wood.
Yes. What?
It's so cliche, but
I know. Yeah. Can we have something else?
She has a dog. So
it is a cliche, though, isn't it?
It is.
Is there a way to subvert this, or just do it in a different way? Like I've just, someone was talking about it a little while ago. I think I saw something on Twitter. It's just like kind of like that trope. I mean, we've talked about it
about the person in the woods cutting wood.
About the person in the woods cutting wood and living the solitary life, and I don't do that anymore. It is true.
Well, I mean, look, I'm okay if she lives in a small town. She's found like
sure, but it's like
she run like what'd be really cool is who is she now? It's been 100 years, like just without going too deep into it.
Yeah,
she left Demonkind 100 years ago. She has been on the run. She's clearly taken on an identity. They haven't found her for whatever reason. If she lives in a tiny little town where she runs or she works at a cafe or whatever, like, I don't know. Is that something?
Is it? Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. Do we need to have a job? I don't know. I'm just playing around with it too, Well,
I mean, yeah, we talked about the fact that she probably doesn't need to wouldn't need much, although it doesn't mean she wouldn't enjoy things. Money is still good for things. I mean, demons you would think are all about hedonism. So, it's not like she doesn't even if she doesn't need to eat, she'd still eat.
I was just repicturing the scene rather than doing, pushing in over the mountains and, she's in the cabin in the woods. Colorado, again, like that small mountain community, mountain town. And, you're in the small little store
Mhm.
and you're with her,
Mhm.
and you're just with her, and we're instantly going, whoa! I just saw you do this
She's
thing. Now
shopping
you're
or
here.
she's working?
She's just shopping. She's just getting her groceries, you know.
Okay. So where
And
does she live in town? Does she go home
don't
ever?
I don't know.
Because we're gonna go home with
Yeah.
her at some point.
Here's
Because we
hoping
just
Charlize Theron.
as we just said, um, this is live. As we just
And my wife's watching.
as we just said, we're going to see multiple signs. So
Sure.
this is going to take place over, we're going to have a little teeny montagey sequence of the next few days. Her life. We're going to see her life, but we're also going to get to see the signs of the coming of the Antichrist. So,
yeah.
I mean, again, it's interesting to me if she's like suburban or in a little town, or in a little, like, is she just living like a normal life with neighbors and like has made friends with people. The only problem is it goes against a lot of what we've created in her character previously. We talked about her being isolated for a reason, because she feels as though, in fact, this is important, and I'm gonna share a different window for a moment, and this is why we do scratch documents. Okay.
Yes, we can always go back to that,
because we can always go back to them. And so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to actually share
our other doc,
a different screen here. And
there's a conversation between Lily and my wife happening in the comments section right now, which is hilarious.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. So I'm glad. So basically, we said that Charlize.
Yeah.
So over the next 100 years, Charlize tried to find love among humans, but she couldn't control it. She was still a demon and decided that she would never be able to have a normal life unless she could one day become human.
Right.
This is the desire. This was the version with the Celestials.
It was, yeah.
Take advantage of her promise of being human. Now, the reason that we did this had to do with her arc, because we wanted her to believe that being a demon meant she was evil. It's not what you are, it's who you are. That's her arc, right? It's, you're a demon, you can't stop being a demon, but that doesn't mean you can't be good. If she starts off at the beginning believing that she can just live a normal life amongst humans with no consequences, what is the arc, right? Here's the arc. Understanding that she does have the option to be more than a demon. It's not what you are, it's who you are, and your choices are what determines this. So at the beginning of this 100 years, we have to understand that she does not believe that. She believes, I'm a demon. I'm living in hiding.
Yes.
And that's because the other demons, if they found me, would kill me.
Yes.
And the reason I had to leave is because I started to develop a moral compass, which probably I hate. In fact, that's interesting too. I probably hate the fact that I felt that way, but I couldn't help the fact that I felt that way. I started to feel like a human, and that made me angry.
Right.
But I couldn't help it, you know?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, wherever we catch up to her, this is the world she's been living for 100 years.
It is, yes.
Not
necessarily just this town, but this has been her existence. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to the question of going, well, I understand that with the, this concept of like, I would like to feel love one day, potentially. What does she want, and what's she going to do to get it? Why is Sam part of her desire now that it's not about becoming human? Unless I do want to become quote unquote human. And I do know that if I were to stop this really bad thing from happening. That would allow me to. But I must know that that's possible.
I guess here's okay. It's a question for you.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know that it's a good question, but I'm going to ask it.
But ask it anyway.
If you, Jake,
yeah,
learned that the world was going to end, but there was something you could do about it, would you do that thing?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you wouldn't necessarily need to want something specific in order to do that.
Yeah, saving the world, right?
Isn't that enough?
Yeah, that is enough. Yeah.
So if Charlize, who has developed a moral compass, whether she likes it or not, learns that the Antichrist is coming.
Well,
she's one of the only people who knows.
I'm going to pause you for a second and just be clear about some things, because we're talking about two separate things here. One is the coming of the Antichrist.
Well, that's kind of Antichrist. I mean, it's like,
is that what that means?
Semantics.
If the Antichrist is coming, that the world is going to end?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to blow up, but I think it's going to be, a million years of darkness and demon reign.
Yeah. Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah, I think it's the ultimate. Satan gets to rise from hell. Whatever it is that you want to decide, whatever your cultural mythology is of this day.
That's totally fine. I mean, I can.
She is the bringer of the apocalypse. Whatever you believe that.
Okay, so she is. So that is what she is. She is the bringer of the apocalypse. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Would I do it? Yeah, of course I would do it.
I don't, like I said, the reason I thought it might be a bad question is because characters in movies they kind of need to be a little bit more complicated than we.
Yeah, and also I go, well, she was a demon.
Yeah, but she went against that.
She went against
because
it.
She cares. The opening scene clearly makes it understandable that she cares about people.
And I am in. Yeah. And I am in a privileged position of being able to know and see these signs. I know when these signs are coming. And when they're coming, I vowed that if I ever saw the signs, I would go and fucking stop it right there and then.
So well, maybe she doesn't need to vow. I mean, honestly, I haven't vowed that I would save the world if I ever had the opportunity. But if the opportunity presented and I was the only one who knew how to do it, I might take that on, even if reluctantly. And I think that's something that could be interesting, is that her realization that she is the only one that might be able to do anything about it.
I don't know who she can express that to.
Well, so the scene that I was just going to pitch out was, if there's this moment, let's say she's seen sign A, sign B, she's starting to pick it up, and she's she talks to her dog, and she's it has nothing to do with me. Well, I've seen these signs 10 times over the last millennia, whatever it is. I don't know. Bad dialogue. But she goes into the local Rite Aid to get,
some band-aids.
Yeah, and that's where she sees that there's actually a demon trying to fuck with somebody.
Yeah.
And she either knows this demon or she doesn't. It doesn't really matter, but she knows that he is a demon. He grabs a demon, she brings him into the back room, she fucking threatens him. What the fuck are you doing here? You're not supposed to be out here without, orders. As we talked about, they're kind of like an army in a sense. Randomly here for? And he's like, oh, you're the one you're the abandoner. Maybe they've given her a name at this point. You're the deserter, and there's nothing you can do. The bringer of the apocalypse is here, and once we're all out here, we'll hunt you down and we'll kill you. And she's like, ah, shit. Seriously, I mean, I've been seeing the signs, but really?
Yeah.
So now it's two things. Number one, I am really the only person that can do this. And number two, if they win, they're going to have control, and they are going to find me.
Sure.
And
totally. Yeah. So I must, yeah.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Cool. All right. Okay.
So that doesn't fully answer though where she lives. The idea basically that we were talking about though is that she's been living off the path, staying hidden and believing that she can't integrate with normal life because all she does is bring pain and suffering.
Does it make sense? I'm just gonna poke a hole just for a second.
Mhm.
I wanted to live in a place where demons would never find me, and yet while I'm grocery shopping in Rite Aid, I see a demon.
Well, that's what makes it so peculiar and odd, and
because demons don't normally shop at Rite Aid.
Correct.
Yeah,
they go to CVS.
They go to CVS.
That's how she knows.
Great brand loyalty. I'm going to move to a town where they've only got a Rite Aid.
Demons go to CVS, Jake. No, seriously, the whole thing, and this is what I was trying to say, and we'll have to find a way to really convey it simply, but coming out from hell on a mission is not something done lightly. We're not in a world where demons just roam free all the time.
Right. They go and do specific
go and do specific things because that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that a random demon is there, at first, she could go, oh, I'll just fucking kill this guy.
Yeah.
And then he spills the beans that it's not just me, you're going to see a lot more of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she knows. So
interesting. Okay.
Being in a place that is not important, or doesn't have any true strategic advantage for demon kind, would be a place where she could, in theory, hide. You know, being in New York City, not a good idea. Being in LA, probably not a good idea.
Being in Bumblefuck, Colorado.
Being in small town Colorado, everyone's getting stoned, everyone's happy. Not a great place for demons.
That's all they do. That's all they do in Colorado is just get stoned and be happy.
Just kidding.
We are approaching the hour mark on our show right now.
We didn't get anywhere with our outline today.
Yeah, with our outline.
So
this is again what we may do as well is we may do other work on there and then do like a recap of it at some point we're discussing as well. But we're gonna keep trying to figure out.
Here's the thing, audience, my audience here. When Jake and I do an outline, we answered this the other day in a question. It tends to be about a week to 2 weeks of like really focused work. Whereby we don't really work on any other projects during that time. We really kind of just focus our energy in on one thing and try and get that outline done so that our brain is very much focused on that project. We work 9 to 5. We do. You know, if we're focused on even that one project for sometimes we'll split half days. You know, we're doing 20 to 40 hours minimum to get this outline where it needs to be. Now, we were talking about this and we're going, we don't want to have
20 episodes, 20 hours, 20
of us just doing this. Unless you guys like it. I mean, we can. But I don't know if that just becomes.
It's interesting. We just got a comment from Chris, who's watched the show before, and he says, "Hey guys, wants to give a sincere thanks for doing these vids. Seeing professional writers go through the same messy and imperfect process, the trials, the errors, especially the errors, thanks Chris, that the rest of us grapple with, has provided a lift in my own writing confidence, and I'm sure others as well. Looking forward to the rest." So thank you, Chris. Yes. It's the same for all of us.
We all go through it, right? Like we literally just spent an hour going in a fucking circle. I mean, like that's the shit, right?
But here's the thing: even if you do spend an hour and get right back to where you started at the same hour, it's not just the same because you know even more why that's the version that you're going with.
We've definitely dialed in on what we're trying to do, and we have an establishing shot on our outline, so there is that.
That didn't exist at the start of the show.
But it is a real question, and I do think we need to sit with it. Part of me thinks that these are just kind of fun sessions, and just having people in on our creative sessions is great.
Yeah.
Part of me also thinks that if we only do this for an hour a day, we won't even have our outline done for another.
And that's it.
6-7 weeks.
I know.
But the reality is, and we talked about this live as well, we've got a lot of other projects that we're working on right now.
I mean, here's the thing as well.
So maybe that's okay.
I always talk about the fact that there's no such thing as wasted. You know, some people out in the world who are still not working as screenwriters, but doing their other jobs on this, you know, as their main thing, may only get an hour or two a day.
That was us.
On their stuff. That was us.
We were. I mean, I would finish up at the restaurant, and you'd meet me at my apartment for like
that's right.
2 hours,
an hour or two.
Yeah, and we.
So
and
you
that's
know,
all we got.
Yeah, and there's the thing. It's like things take as long as they take.
True.
You know, and I think what's so interesting for me is going, because we haven't been doing any work on this other than watching movies.
Nothing. I mean, honestly, guys, nothing.
Nothing. It's all been documented. I can say absolutely that we've done about 70, although on episode 6, we had a couple of half-hour extras, didn't we? Like 17 and a half hours work on this project so far.
Yeah.
You know, and I can actually track that because it's all documented. So look, why don't we keep doing it the way it is, even if it's just for an hour? We'll just keep doing it.
You guys are just going to have to keep watching because
if we
start to see viewership really fall, then we're going to have to reassess.
But we could put them into separate playlists, couldn't we?
Yeah,
we could do the out, you know, constructing an idea, outline
a whole
playlist,
separate playlist for it,
and
so
then you can just, you know.
I like that, Jake.
Yeah.
I like that. You know what else we can do? And I was thinking about this too. And we talked about interviews. I think interviews or having guests would be really great. In fact, Jake, I hadn't brought up to you yet, but I was thinking tomorrow would be a really fun day to have a guest. So I think we should talk about that and think about maybe someone that we could have on as a guest. We have people that we can make phone calls to.
I know people. We know people.
And then also, you know, something that we could do, since we do know that this process can be somewhat monotonous, is our normal process of getting into this tends to involve a preamble of the day and kind of talking about various things about just like the business and work and whatnot.
We could jump straight in.
Do we just do a bit of a Well, no. I'm talking about the opposite. I'm talking about for people who just want to like listen about things about screenwriting, for example, or things about the business, but don't necessarily want like this our outline up on the pages we're working. Is there a way to kind of give both so that it's not just the same every day?
Perhaps.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know,
still figuring this shit out after.
Still figuring it out. Figuring out this thing called life. I mean, podcasting.
Anyway, guys, it has been great. It's an hour and 7 minutes in, so we are going to cut it off for today. But thank you so much for watching, and please continue to subscribe, spread the word, tweet about us, Facebook about us.
Do all the things.
People, you know, other than Jake's wife commenting, which she's done a lot of great commenting today.
She's done some great commenting. She had a sound issue earlier as well, so I wonder. I hope I know she's watching on Facebook Live. She's just making sure I'm up to no good, I think. This is what I do. But I think, we'll have a little look. If there were any sound issues, do leave us a comment. We'll see if we can fix them. So.
Great. Well, thank you, Chris, for commenting. Thanks, you, Lily, for commenting. Thank you, Siri, and thank you, Leandro.
Yes.
And everyone else. We will see you tomorrow.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.